Today, I think in the past few lessons, we managed to cover our alliance system. That one is done and dusted. So we are going to look into the next cause of the World War called the Moroccan Crisis. Called the what? Moroccan Crisis. So there are two of them. There's the first Moroccan Crisis of 1905, then the second Moroccan Crisis of what? 1911. Right. I think we once mentioned about the alliance system. Yes. And how the countries promised to assist each other in times of what? In times of crisis. Right. So, Moroccan crisis is what we call colonial rivalry. Colonial what? Rivalry. Who can explain what colonial rivalry is all about? Yes.
I think this is you can have two countries that want to colonize another nation, but then because they are both targeting that particular country, they have a rivalry between the two.
Yes, that's a good explanation. You wanted to say something? Right. Well, when we talk about colonial rivalry, we are simply talking about a scenario whereby two countries are fighting for one another. So it led to the war. So Moroccan crisis is one of the examples of what colonial rivalry is all about. So let us start by looking into the first Moroccan crisis. Let us start by looking into the what? The first Moroccan crisis. So the first Moroccan crisis is also referred to as the Tangier crisis. It is also referred to as the Tangier crisis. Why? So this first Moroccan crisis happened in 1905. Right. This Tangier crisis happened in 1905, but before 1905, in 1904, there was the signing of the Entente Cordiale. The Entente Cordiale pitted which countries? I want the people who read. Entente Cordiale and Nika Zipi. Entente Cordiale 1904. Yes, Troy?
France, Russia,
Entente Cordiale. And now the triple entente, that Entente Cordiale. Yanga Borne Nika Zigani. Yes, it had two countries. Which countries were involved? You guys are not reading. You should read. Even if I would have explained the things on my own, that's the purpose of writing the notes. That's the purpose of reading the notes too. This is not kids' game. Serious business. Yes.
Britain and France.
Yes, the Entente Cordiale pitted Britain and what? In France. Those are the countries which signed the Entente Cordiale of 1904. So, by the first Moroccan crisis, Germany wanted to test the strength of the Entente Cordiale. The first Moroccan crisis yakayitika 1905. Entente Cordiale yakasigned 1904. So, why is Germany getting entangled into the Moroccan crisis? She wanted to test the what? The strength of the Entente Cordiale. Was Germany takasotaura kubva kudhara kuti yaida kukeepa France isolated. So zvaida kukeepa France isolated. Yaida kuita sure apa yaida kuona mamoves ese France. So apa yaida kumbotesta kuti Entente Cordiale yacho yakasimba kusvika papi. So what did Germany do? Germany knew that France had interest in what? In Morocco. Germany yaitozviziva kuti France yaida chi? Morocco. So what did the Germans do? On this agreement, French claims to Morocco that was on the Entente Cordiale, the terms of the Entente Cordiale. Pama terms of the Entente Cordiale, pakabuda kuti Britain yaida Egypt. Then Morocco yaidiwa ni France. So vakabva vango respectana kuti since tama friends, iwo Britain chitora ako pa Egypt. Ini nditore pa Morocco. So that was the arrangement. So Germany what whatever moves France. So what was the case? So Germany also had economic interest and trading interest in Morocco. So she did not want Morocco to be taken by what? By France. Right. So like Germany felt like she was sidelined. She felt like she also wanted to be involved in this Moroccan issue. So in 1905, the Kaiser Williams of Germany and his chancellor called Ballo, they visited a place called they visited a coastal town. That coastal town was called what? Tangier. That's why it's called the Tangier Crisis. So Germany yakabva yaenda kuMorocco yasvika panzvimbo inonzi Tangier. Tangier was a coastal town. When I say Tangier was a coastal town, what does it mean? What is a coastal town? What do you understand by the word coast? What a coast you coast and a, what do you understand? Yes.
It's a town close by sea.
Yes. A coastal town is a town which is near the sea. I think it's the simplest terms we can put it across there. So Tangier was a coastal town. So Germany visited Tangier, and when she visited Tangier, she went on to criticize France in front of the what? Of the Moroccans. In symbol shown, Germany yakaenda Morocco, vayaunganidza Morocco, vayatanga kudhisa kana kutsoropodza Morocco pamberi pemachi, vayatanga kutsoropodza France pamberi pemachi bemamorocco. France vanotora nyika yenyu ugare makachenjerera, vatanga kusapota, like the leader of the Moroccans was called the what? The Sultan. Kaiser wanted to test the strength of the Anglo-French entente, the Angelical Diao, and what did they do in the speech? Right, the Kaiser supported the Sultans of Morocco in their struggle against France. He made a bold decision, trying to convince the Sultans that Germany would support the independence of Morocco. So Germany's gospel was all about supporting what? Was all about supporting what? Morocco. For Morocco to be what? To be free. So both Britain and France were angered by this behavior of the Kaiser, and they threatened the war. And Germany went on to defend herself by saying, no, let us hold a conference to solve the issue of Morocco. Since it took Morocco, so let us hold the conference. So the conference was called the what? Algeciras Conference. Algeciras Conference of what? Of the year 1906. So nyika dzisi dzakabva dzati dzamva zvanonanga kunonzi Algeciras France to discuss the fate or to discuss the future of Morocco. So when they met at Algeciras in 1906, which was held in Spain, most of the major powers in Europe attended. This included Britain, France, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Spain, Russia, and Italy. So at this conference, that's when Germany learned that the Entente Cordiale was strong and here to stay. Because Britain clearly showed his support to what? To France. Permitting so Britain yaitika taura point. Sorry, France yaitika taura point. Then on Britain utaiwa chinofunga chayo pata point nemso. It is what our story po vototango tombera mubuda. But Germany gataura yonza utoti boa mutipedzera time. Let that one my routine. Not sense. The only country which supported Germany is what? Obviously, it's Austria. And the Pagapagapudisa picture between Europe, they were now anti-what? Anti-German. The only country standing by Germany was what? Was Austria. So at this conference, the Kaiser was humiliated. Because the point is it was crushed. They laughed at it, you know. So he had wanted to appear as a major power in Africa. That was Kaiser Williams. He wanted to appear as a demigod, as a powerful figure in Africa, you know. So he was particularly bitter about the way he was treated, as if he had no right to speak on such matters. And only Austria-Hungary supported what? Supported Germany. Then what was the agreement at the end of the day? It was agreed that Morocco should remain independent. Because Morocco all along and from time immemorial was independent. it was agreed that Morocco was supposed to remain independent, but French and Spanish police were to keep order, as if there was a disorder. So that was an indirect accusation of Morocco by France. Kuti vakagara pamusangano vongotaura kuti Morocco iya takuipa France, Germany yakavhura maziso yakatarisa kudai paigona kuita mahwani. So vakaita nonzi indirect accusation. What I'm saying here is very simple. Onzwa kuti mapurisa ekuBotswana neSouth Africa ndiwo akukipa order muZimbabwe. Zvinoreva. Ora Zimbabwe zvaingori izvozvo. Ongonzwa kuti vakuita basa rekusunga vanhu nekumaintaina order muZimbabwe. Mapurisa ekuMozambique nekuSouth Africa. What does it mean? Zimbabwe has been colonized. So that's what they agreed on the Adjusters Conference. Morocco iyanetsa. So what are we going to do? Morocco is supposed to remain independent, but Mapurisa ekuSpain Spain neku France, they are going to keep order in what? In France. That was an indirect accusation. Obviously, they put the influence of those countries over Morocco. You can pause it. Don't continue. Right. So, at the end of the day, the Kaiser, who failed to immediately vote to reverse the decision when Germany's navy was powerful enough. In other words, Morocco ended up in France. But Yagapi was really skilled. Right. So, from 1905 to 1911, that's when we have the what? The second Moroccan crisis. So, Kaiser Williams II was not happy. That's how the second Moroccan crisis started. The Kaiser Williams II had been disappointed by the outcome of the Algeciras Conference in 1906. So in 1908, the French secured the election of a new Sultan of Morocco because the previous one was against the French policy in Morocco. So from 1905, right, to 1911, there is a gap of something like 6 years, right? And we established by the end of the part of the first Moroccan crisis that many, the French police were now controlling what? Order, or were now imparting order in what? In Morocco. This means that in one way or the other, France had some political influence in Morocco. France had to control something in Morocco. So, Babana 1905 to 1911, obviously, Mama told my French wobble. Jango fani kutonzi kuti mapurisa eku South Africa akukontrola Zimbabwe. Ukanazotarisa after 10 years unogona kutoona mazara ma South Africans munombizo. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. So by that time there were now many French citizens living in what? In Morocco. To an extent the French became so influential in Moroccan politics to an extent that they even chose a what? A puppet sultan. Vakanobvisa ngari kubva vanoisa chi wawa vaidaiwo. A puppet leader is a remote controlled leader. Ndi leader yekuti anenge achiita zvekuudzirwa zvekuita. Kuti ita zvakati, ita zvakati. Anenge ari wenyu. Same Moroccan, but he was running the country but French. So what was the case here? So the people of Morocco were not happy. They were given a leader they didn't like. So they engaged in riots to express their disapproval of that installation. In 1911, a rising occurred against this new sultan, right? A rising occurred against this new sultan, and in order to suppress it, the French forces occupied the Moroccan capital called Fez. So zvakaitika vanhu vemuMorocco vakatanga kujama. Tumwe makatisira vakati muri makaisa mika. And pakatoitika noise isingaiti. But paitika noise iyoyo, France yakabva yatumira masoja mucapital mechi. Yakabva yatumira masoja mucapital meMorocco pamozana. Don't France bayakubvunzwa, this is sort of a European internal affair. Why masoja? Was he one of the state of emergency in political science? Like, it's not normal kungona masoja akangozara. It's not normal politically. So that's the question which Germany asked and other countries asked. Kuti why masoja in France akangozara? Then France had to say, we have French citizens in this country, so these soldiers are protecting. These soldiers are protecting our French citizens. Tunguona mazarafuti masoja ekuchina tobvunza kuti muri kutsvagei muna Copacabana mutauni masoja ekuchina utaiwa muno makazara mazhinji omu takazara machina singaiti tiri kuprotectawo machina edu muno because muri kunetsana muri kuita noise munogona kupwanya dzimba nekutitemera machina mamwe edu. So Germany yakakurumidza kuona kuti mabuditsirwo aitwa masoja apa vanhu vakuda kutotora nyika ka. Yes. So Germany, that's when Germany like the Kaiser sensing danger of total control of Morocco by France sent a German gunboat called the what? The Panther. The gunboat was called the what? The Panther. She sent the gunboat at what? At Agadir. That's why the second Moroccan crisis is also well known as the Panther crisis or the Agadir crisis. So Germany yakatora the Panther, the gunboat, vayanoti dzipa Agadir. Vayabvunzwa kuzi then Germany said, no, I also have some German citizens in Agadir which I'm trying to protect. And those are our France. France